best thing about the Vinci is possibly the Sundeck, the ability to be on the Sundeck through the entire journey. Many three-deck vessels have to close their Sundecks off as they cruise under low bridges. They just don't have the clearance. This means guests have to be inside. They might have balconies, but the unfortunate part about a balcony is you're limited to half the experience. This isn't like an ocean-going cruise where you're miles off the coast with nothing to see. These are intimate, tiny little rivers where there's always scenery to behold, beautiful scenery. The best place to see that is from the Sundeck, where you can see all of it, a 360-degree panoramic view, not a small, one-sided view from your balcony. We can cruise through the day, we can go underneath all the low bridges without ever asking anybody to leave the Sundeck. But most importantly, nowadays with the rivers fluctuating as much as they do, when you're on a three-deck ship, you have inches to spare both under the keel and clearance between a lot of the bridges. If the river goes up a foot or drops a foot, you're stuck, you don't move. Whereas a two-deck boat, you have a lot more space on top of the Sundeck to clear the bridges, and the depth, the draft isn't anywhere near as deep. So while other ships are stopped because there's no water in the river, we can continue. Low bridges all over Europe also happen to be in some of the most beautiful places. So because of the low bridges and because their Sundecks are closed, the guests don't get the full experience of seeing this incredible scenery. And that's a shame. Unfortunately, these low bridges just aren't a few and far in between. On one stretch, there's over 100 of them. This means it's not as simple as collapsing the Sundeck and putting it back up. As soon as they're under the low bridge, they collapse the Sundeck for up to 6 days out of the journey. One of the greatest things for us going into these locks is the ability to stay on the Sundeck for these locks. Because of the clearance, all three-deck ships, none of them will allow you to be on the Sundeck when doing this. Sure, you can experience it from your balcony, but when the wall of the lock is 6 inches from your nose, you're not going to experience much.